All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to this week's live stream. Hopefully everyone had a great day so far. I certainly have had a great day. But yeah, let's get right into the markets. So today, the overall markets were basically confused, as you guys can clearly see on the title of the live stream. And the reason why I say that is that the markets didn't do much today is basically what happened, right? If you just take a look at SPY futures, right, the S&P 500 futures, and just take a look at the 15-minute and take a look at the price action from today, right? This is horrible, right? We're just going down, up, and then we start to move really tightly, right? Even after when we got a bunch of economic data and just overall data from the ISM manufacturing data and jobs report, or jobs data, and basically what happened with that data was it wasn't too significant. We just had really weak jobs data and very strong ISM manufacturing numbers. That's it, right? So nothing too significant. But the markets hardly reacted, and overall we were just having a very tight day. Now, having a tight day doesn't mean inherently that it's a bad day, right? Because I could just be saying that the market is still consolidating, and so basically off of that, if you take a look at the S&P 500 futures right now, we are currently bouncing right at the daily 10 SMA again, right? But we're still in a range. All right, and currently I am short SPY overnight. I do have an expiration for a position a couple days out. At least it's not this week, and this week is next week. But I may or may not be stopped out tomorrow morning. But it all depends on how we open and how we react in the first 30 minutes of the market open. So I'm very interested to see where SPY goes tomorrow and how the overnight movement kind of goes. But so far, we are having this bounce on the daily 10. And based on today's action overall in the markets, there are a lot of names, especially the small and mid-cap names that have essentially had a very tight consolidation day. And that's exactly what they needed, right? For example, if you just take a look at the Russell 2000, IWM, right, this is really good. In fact, we started to consolidate sideways. And I would love the fact that if IWM had retested 182 to 181.80ish sometime in the next couple of days. But again, if we do decide to just move sideways between 184 and 186 very tightly, and we start making really tight inside days, that's completely fine as well. Right? We can still continue to move to the upside, and obviously all the factors that or potential catalysts that I've outlined in the newsletter since 2 weeks ago should still be considered for small caps or the Russell 2000, right? For all the members out there who are watching this live stream recording or the live stream right now. So basically, overall, the markets today didn't do anything. Now, that doesn't mean bearish or bullish, right? But for me, since I am looking for that possible pullback, and I know that sounds like a broken clock at this point, right? If you guys take a look at the description down below, I even restated that. But SPY, it's in dire need, right? If you just take a look at the S&P 500 SPY now, it's in a dire need to have a nice pullback, right? But I have seen the markets continue to go higher, even if it needs a pullback, as it continues to just tightly move sideways. And usually that could just be enough. That could literally be enough for the bulls to say, okay, well, the market has rested enough, quote unquote, rested enough, and has built enough momentum to be able to break to the upside, right? So there is that slight possibility that can occur for this entire week today, right? This week especially. So it's not obviously good for my position, but I do need to make sure that I take that into account. And you guys should always be assessing your risks like that, right? You guys should always understand where your position could be based on the current data that you have right now. And so right now, for SPY futures, for the S&P 500 futures, it's not looking too good for me, right? And so I need to figure out overnight what I need to be doing with that position, right? This is what people call preparation, right? And preparing for the next trading day. Right, people always think that preparing means just do the analysis, right? But they completely forget about what about their overnight positions, or what about their long-term positions. Like what do you need to deal with them, and how would you deal with them if the market decides to move against your favor, or in the the favorable direction of your current positions, right? So that's something that I really try to tell you guys every single trading day, that you guys should understand that preparation is just not doing technical analysis and just looking at a chart. Right? You guys should understand your risk tolerance, how much you're actually risking in that specific position or positions, and dealing with and making up a solution that you can actually execute in the next trading day. All right, so for SPY, I will be managing my risks tomorrow, and I will make sure to have a tight stop loss, especially if we do end up with a nice gap up overnight. All right, so far we're looking to have a very small gap up with how the current S&P 500 futures are looking, but again, all I could do right now is hope that we can see a potential gap down or a potential move down for a nice tiny gap down for us to have a very weak open. All right, but overall, that's all I can do for now, right? I mean, I can't do anything while the market is closed. All right, so that's kind of what I want to tell you guys today, that the S&P 500 futures and even just the NASDAQ futures too is showing a considerable, relatively good bounce is what I would say, right? But again, we are trying to see some sort of a curve forming, right? Especially as the daily 10 and daily 21 SMAs on all these extended charts that are kind of pausing at their top range are starting to curl to the downside, right? That's exactly what we're seeing with NASDAQ futures and also with ES, okay? So SPY, S&P 500 futures, right? And especially if you go back to SPY, right? As we're pausing here, we continue to move tightly right on top of the daily 10 SMA, while the 21 SMA continues to catch up. And we cannot forget about the fact that we have 3 gap ups that we have not yet filled in. All right, so this is for the long term. Okay, now if you guys remember, I told you guys in previous live streams that we don't have to fill in these gaps right away, right? It's good to know that yes, they will eventually be 100% guaranteed filled in the future, but due to the fact that we've had such a vertical move up with great buying momentum and great buying volume, it's kind of unrealistic to be touting for and rooting for a complete fill of all of these 3 gap ups. Okay, if someone's telling you that we're looking for a complete 100% reversal of all the gains that we made since the October bottom into November, that's unrealistic, right? They don't know what they're talking about, right? So again, for SPY, there's a good chance that we can still take out and make new 2023 highs that we made since Friday. Right, Friday was when we actually passed the 2023 high of 459.44. But so far since then, we start to see some very nice top wicks, which makes me feel that the market can see some sort of a pullback to 451.50, which is this specific support level that I've been hawking for the past 2 weeks here. Okay, so again, hopefully you guys are staying safe. Hopefully you guys are keeping your risks low with every single trade. And right now, again, it is kind of a short squeeze season as we're nearing the end of the year. A lot of hedge funds are going to be clamoring to make up for any type of losses or any type of gains that they've missed. So they will try to short squeeze any type of name that has been completely smashed down by them, and they'll try to flip the narrative, flip the trend on that company's stock price and try to squeeze it back up higher, right? So it's going to be a bunch of the small and mid caps that will mostly be doing that kind of short squeeze run as we've seen since late last week. So it's good to be looking at really shitty and crappy stocks right now. Even if it may feel wrong to do that, it's completely fine because, again, we need to be opportunistic when we are in a bull market, right? And again, money and sector rotations have been occurring very, very well. And it's crucial that you guys understand why that's so important because, again, if we have healthy sector and money rotations during a bull market, that means the bull market is very, very healthy, right? Hopefully you guys answer that in your heads, right? The bull market is very, very healthy, and that's exactly what we've been seeing. So, looking for a 5 to 10% correction or pullback is not viable, right? It's not realistic. It's 100% not realistic, right? So I've been seeing a lot of FinTweet accounts saying that, oh my God, we're going to be crashing as we head into next year. We're going to be seeing a 10 to 50% pullback, maybe a 20% market crash. But again, how can you even say that, right? Based on what we have right now, right? Based on the data that we've had for the past month and a half. Okay, so that's kind of what I want to go over tonight with you guys about the market. But let me go ahead and start up with some markets, not some markets, some tickers that I want to go over. So let me look at WMT. So this is one of my members here who've asked me about WMT in the private CFO Discord. So if you guys want to join in, make sure you guys DM me on Instagram. All right, if you guys DM me on Instagram, if you guys go out of your way and take the time to DM me on Instagram, I will give you guys a special discount code that is personalized for you, a forever discount code, and I'll send it to you in the chat and reply to your DM if you guys take the time to DM me. All right, if and only if. Okay, so WMT here looks pretty enticing. It's right back down to daily 200 SMA. So it's looking pretty interesting because we've had actually a retest of the daily 200 back in March lows. And we're retesting it again in the same year. So that kind of clearly indicates to me some weakness. And usually when a stock is actually looking to have some very strong moves to the upside, we tend to continue to stray further and further away from the daily 200 SMA. But ever since we've retested the actual retest of March lows of this year, we have gone pretty close to retesting the daily 200 SMA back in early October, and now we've officially retested it and lost it for about 2 days here, but now we regained it today. So I would say definitely, obviously, I mean, this earnings gap down is horrible, right? This is bearish. I would expect to see continued move to the downside. I love the fact that it's actually making a pretty constructive price pattern here, or price structure, right? So we're starting to see lower highs and lower lows, right? So this is what we will ideally want to see, right? And this is like an ideal movement here, okay? But I mean, don't take this with a little grain of salt here, right? I mean, this is just a basic drawing, but I would want to ideally see something like this. And obviously today, after we retested and reclaimed and closed over the daily 200 SMA, we have now retested the daily 10 SMA. So this is the second time that we retested it since we had this very large gap down from earnings. And so that usually tells me that, hey, there is a chance that we can continue to use the daily 10 SMA as an area of resistance, which means it can be a very easy short entry for your short position on this name whenever we see a retest of the daily 10 SMA. But here's something that you guys should consider. Okay, there is a fact. Well, there is a possibility, not just a fact, that we can be seeing the daily 21 SMA being retested because this one is also starting to catch up as it continues to curl down towards the price here. So there's always a chance that the price will reclaim the daily 10 SMA out of nowhere, right? And then it will retest the 21 SMA and then have a huge rejection day and make a nice bearish candlestick like we did here when we first retested the daily 10 SMA, and then we saw this very nice dramatic move to the downside, right? So again, basically in conclusion, what I'm trying to tell you guys is that if you guys decide to put in all your money into getting a short position on a rejection at the daily 10 SMA, you should understand that there's still room for the price to move back up and retest the daily 21 SMA and actually see our first retest of the daily 21 SMA before it makes another dramatic move to the downside. All right, so basically I would say, it's prudent to be able to understand how much that you should be risking based on the technical analysis that you've done on the daily time frame first, right? But again, WMT looks a bit bearish. So if this was me, okay, looking to short WMT, I might get a very small starter position on Walmart here at the rejection at 156, and then leave enough room for me to risk a potential move over 156 and potentially for the name to start moving sideways as it allows the daily 21 SMA to come back down and catch up to the price so that it can actually retest. And once the price does retest the daily 21 SMA, we can see that actual add to that position with good amount of contracts or equity there to short, and we can see that position potentially working in our favor if and only if the price decides to move down, right, from the rejection or retest at the daily 21 SMA, right? So again, I'm looking at the daily 10 and 21 SMAs. First of all, because these are my momentum SMAs, and the short-term trend is to the downside, right? If you break below the daily 200 SMA, then that officially confirms that the short-term and long-term trends are to the downside. And so Walmart is not looking too hot, but hopefully Walmart can hold its current uptrend, even if it's making or it's attempting to make lower lows and lower highs, right? So WMT definitely on the weekly too. Make sure you take a look at it. We have a pretty good support around 153 that we're currently bouncing off of, but that daily looks a bit precarious here. So I would say having a bearish perspective on this name right now is probably your best bet. Okay. All right. So that is it for WMT. All right. So a ticker that I want to go over is U. Okay. So U or Unity Software has very good potential for another short squeeze. Okay. So the reason why I say that, okay, is if you have to look at the weekly time frame. So Unity has been basing for a really long time, for over a year, right? It's almost 2 years at this point, basically. It could be almost 2 years if we were already in 2024. But hey, Tremendous Market, I didn't know you're in here. Yeah, of course. Hopefully that makes sense for Walmart. But yeah, SoFi, sure, I'll be looking at SoFi after as well. So Unity Software, and oh, by the way, I know you're in that, so hopefully your position is looking great and really good entry there too. I remember when you got in. So Unity here, I really love how it, again, as these arrows show, okay, every single time it made a new all-time, well, when it made a new all-time low here, for the first time, it had a very, very quick, impulsive move to the upside, right? And after that, the price just continued to move straight up for the next 3 weeks, right? After this initial week here. And when we had the most recent earnings here and it tried to make new all-time lows, it actually stopped before it made new all-time lows, before breaking this low here, and it made a very nice impulsive move up again, right? Similar to what happened here. But this time around, okay, we're starting to see some resistance. But that's only because of the fact that we have a huge area of supply that we're dealing with here. All right, this is a huge area of supply. So with small caps and mid caps, starting to become quote-unquote leaders as the overall mega cap and just overall large cap stocks kind of topping out and consolidating and not really leading the entire market anymore, it's kind of up to these small caps and mid caps to be able to push the market upwards by themselves, right? And Unity tends to be in that group. So Unity, if we continue to see the small and mid cap stocks continuously moving up higher and higher and higher, and we start to continuously see these really crappy, these dog shit companies continuously squeezing up higher, Unity should be in a very good place to run up to the upside. And so far, it's been doing pretty well. I think it's going to continue to range trade between 31 to around 33. And this daily 200 SMA here, this yellow line, is going to be a huge crux to any attempts to move to the upside or actually break over this $33 resistance level. But I'm very confident that this one can move upwards into the end of this year and into next year as well. So Unity, definitely keep your eyes on this one. I had a great trade on this one. I believe I took profits right here, right at the daily 50 SMA retest. And I really wished I had gotten in at the break of this very nice consolidation right underneath, or actually right in between the daily 50 SMA. I really wish I actually got that position, ideally on Thursday for that retest and bounce on the daily 10 SMA, but unfortunately I didn't get it. And on Friday, we had this amazing short squeeze, or this very good breakout move to the upside, as a lot of small and mid-cap stocks decided to short squeeze last Friday. Okay, so Unity, keep your eyes on this one as it continues to range trade between 31 to 33. All right, so SoFi, yeah, so SoFi is looking really good too. I mean, to be honest, I think the student loan repayment hype has finally died down. It's been completely priced in. How do I know this? Well, I mean, this recent impulsive move up, right? Back in, quarter three of this year, right? For most of quarter three. Okay. So, actually, it was part of quarter, yeah. Okay. Yeah, most of quarter three is when we saw this impulsive move up. All right, a little bit of late quarter two as well. But anyways, basically what I'm trying to tell you guys is that, kind of the outside external catalyst for this name is finally priced in. This consolidation even tells us that as well, as we made this nice textbook descending channel. And if you guys don't know what that is a very inherent bullish chart pattern. And I love the fact that we're currently sticking over this descending resistance trend line that is a part of this descending channel. Plus, we're now over that convergence point of this horizontal resistance level that was sitting at 7.75, which also converged with, you guys can guess it, this descending resistance trend line. Right? So as long as we rapidly move away from both of these resistance levels, okay, it'll be good for SoFi, right? Because I've seen a lot of stocks that have absolutely just completely messed up their potential breakouts because they have waited for too long and they've stuck around their initial breakout resistance levels, and they eventually fail as shorts come back in. And then the price immediately falls back down into that previous range that it was in. So for SoFi, I really need to see increasing volume. Right? So far, we've been seeing decreasing volume, but hope is not lost here because we're still sticking over and staying over both of these two resistance trend lines. Okay, so if we do continue to move to the upside, again, I want to see 8.50 as a near-term target, and eventually 9.30ish is what I would say for the next target. Okay, but if you guys want to use whole numbers, $9.50 is completely fine too. But yeah, so SoFi definitely looking very, very good. All right. I would expect to see some sort of an impulse move up, just like what we saw here. All right. Okay, and so the fact that we have a more of a price structure, right, and that there is an actual chart pattern that we can deal with here, there is a higher probability that we can see another run up, right? Maybe in equal magnitude here, right? Who knows? Who knows? Right? Who knows what the future holds? But you know, this is a nice looking descending channel. Right? We can definitely work with this. All right. So Commander Sparky, congrats again to you for absolutely getting a very, very good entry point. Ideally for me, I would have been, you know, grabbing somewhere around $7 right in the middle of this channel. But I think you got a really good entry actually at the bounce at this trend line, if I'm remembering correctly. But even if you did get it around $7, that's completely fine. That's a very good entry. Anything that's underneath or within this descending resistance trend line or overall this descending channel, it's good, right? So, you know, the price is currently breaking out, so very, very good. Okay, so yeah, I mean, that's kind of it for tonight, guys. You know, the cumulative tick for the overall markets didn't look too good today. Everything looked pretty weak. The overall market breadth didn't look good as well. But based on what I'm seeing right now on SPY futures and overall NASDAQ futures, there is a chance that we can be seeing another push up higher. And don't be surprised when we do, because I told you guys that there's a risk for that as well. So, you know, it may be disheartening for a lot of people who are short right now. There is a lot of people, trust me. I'm one of them now overnight, as I'm holding this position overnight. But, you know, we need to be able to deal with these positions that you have put for yourself, right? And so, you know, for S&P 500 futures, it's definitely worth looking into for a potential move or pullback to the downside, whether it be 1% or 2%. Okay, at this point, I'm expecting anything. Even a 0.50% pullback will be enough for me too. If you can even consider a 0.50% pullback a pullback. Hey, come on, Sparky. Hey, you're welcome, man. You're welcome. You're welcome. And for any of the you know, current members who are watching this live stream as a recording, if you guys are looking to bring in anyone that you guys know, you know, to this amazing newsletter and great community here, you know, make sure you guys have them DM me so that I can give them a very good discount code, a forever discount code. All right, so if you guys have anyone that you guys know who wants to join, I'll be looking to give them a personalized forever discount code for them to use to join so that they can trade with you guys, you know, whether it be family or friends or maybe even strangers, who knows. But I want you guys to know that there is that opportunity for anyone that you guys know or may not know who wants to trade with us. Okay, so again, you know, good luck. Don't be too biased. Make sure you guys are always having low risk trades right now, since the market has been moving tightly sideways for the last 2 weeks. So yeah, I mean, that's a fair warning for you guys. Okay, fair warning, and in timely fashion too. Have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you guys on Thursday at the same time. Good luck, and I'll see all the members in the private CFO Discord tomorrow morning. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your night.